in a game that started like a bit of a competitive one. I thought it was a friendly at first, and then eventually it got really tight, and Everton started to play really high and really tough and all of that. It turned out that Man United drew the last game of the preseason Premier League summer series. After having some interesting records, to go with what we already have, Man United finished the summer series with 1 win and 2 draws. With 2 wins and 1 draw, rather, finishing with 7 points, topping the table of 4 teams that were involved in the summer series. Now, Manchester United lifted the Premier League summer series trophy in Atlanta, and that should only be the second one, first one being won by Chelsea in the USA after registering a 2-2 draw from competitive and sometimes feisty match between Everton and Man United. Now, Bruno and Mason Mount also had goals scored. Bruno scored a penalty in the first half, and Mason Mount scored the second goal in the second half after an amazing goal. Meanwhile, one person that was of great interest to watch was Bryan Mbeumo making his debut for Manchester United, and it was one that we loved, to have seen. Basically, first and foremost, the starting lineup was pretty interesting to see, even though one football reported it as Mbeumo playing as left wing back, but at the end of the day we all saw that it was not Mbeumo. It was basically Mbeumo got in the mid, left wing back was Dalot, right wing back was Ahmad, the 3 centre backs were De Ligt, Yoro and Shaw, and that is looking like what Rúben Amorim is going to rely on in the Premier League season. We'll never know. We'll see how that builds up. And then obviously in the 210s we had potentially Cunha and Bruno Fernandes, and then Mbeumo up top, or Cunha up top, Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes. It was just a fluid front 3 like that. And basically, we still drew. I know it came from an amazing goal from Iliman Ndiaye, and basically an own goal. The goals that they scored against Man United, Iliman Ndiaye, and an own goal from Amad Diallo, maybe ricochet or across, so aid in heaven basically, not just Amad Diallo hit it, and he hit it aid in heaven and distracted the keeper and went into the net. So it was quite a feisty game. There was a lot of aggressiveness going on and everything, but basically we're focused on next week's game that takes place on Saturday at Old Trafford, where we face Fiorentina in the Snapdragon Cup, the team's final match before the much anticipated opener against Arsenal on the 17th of August. So we have ample time to rest, do some work on training, focus on transfers, focus on other things, like 1 week before Fiorentina, and then the next week we play Arsenal. So it's 2 weeks. Basically, obviously everybody talked about Bryan Mbeumo being in the starting lineup, and it felt like he provided the new signing in the first minutes as a red, and basically it was good that he played only just the first 45 minutes. He had an interesting game basically, and Everton didn't come to play at all, especially with academy graduate James Garner, who saw a 30-yard free kick saved by Altebande, and moments later leading to Jacob Bryan hitting the post from the rebound. And then Beto also thought he had a chance, which was already offside as well, but James Tarkowski fouled Ahmad, which led to the penalty for Bruno to score. And then Mbeumo also began to play more prominent role as the half continued, particularly in set pieces, which eventually led to a shot on target from Bryan Mbeumo. And then basically he showed us a sign where we now understand that we have more firepower in the lineup, and then we can actually have multiple set piece takers in the squad and all that, especially from the left hand side. Bryan Mbeumo also had 2 quick fire shots blocked as well at close range, and his energy was very impressive, considering that it is first out in the preseason campaign and he's not fully match fit. They need to manage his load until he gets there. And then obviously Everton got that goal, and then the second half Mbeumo was subbed off and Patrick Dorgu was brought in, and which meant that we will switch from having Dalot playing as left wing back to Patrick Dorgu playing as left wing back, Dalot playing as right wing back, Ahmad playing as one of the 10s, and then Matheus Cunha playing as one of the 10s, or as a striker. And obviously we had Mason Mount come on as well. Mason Mount became one of the 2 10s as well. So basically, Amorim was managing everybody's game time. Maguire came on later. Leny Yoro came on, went off later. So Patrick Dorgu played a lot of minutes, and then he was largely ineffective as well. Mason Mount produced a stunner when we scored in the 69 minutes, when he scored a goal after an outer foot pass from Bruno Fernandes. Then he spun and swung it into the left hand corner of the net with a swinger. And then Everton also equalized in the second time to move, as the move that began with Bruno Fernandes and India clashing angrily in the centre circle. And basically, United had an excellent chance to win the game late on, when Dorgu could have easily just passed the ball to Rasmus Højlund, but he tried to pass the ball under the keeper, and the keeper saved it. So these are the things that we should consider. Instead of, like, decision making is very key. Find a clear-cut chance, not just trying to score and all that. He chose to shoot instead of passing the ball to Rasmus, and Rasmus got really, really frustrated, and the effort kind of was saved. And the third consecutive win was within reach. But eventually it got screwed up because of, one or two things. Bruno Fernandes was booked and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, Maguire came on later. Tyler Fredrickson also came on for De Ligt, who kind of had a knock in that game. And then Mason Mount also came on for Luke Shaw. Then Højlund came on for Manuel Ugarte, who also had a kind of like a... He had an off day today. So by there, okay, those two goals, he couldn't have done anything different for them. Leny Yoro, good game, was making those passes and all that, but needs to manage his load, so he was taken off for Maguire. Matthijs De Ligt had an okay game, but he had a knock and needed to be subbed off for Tyler Fredrickson. And then Luke Shaw had an okay game, was subbed off for Mason Mount. And then Ahmad, a few bad touches in the first half. Second half, he was largely ineffective per se. The ball wasn't really coming to him like that. Not too many chances created. For Manuel Ugarte, he had I don't want to say he had a poor game, it's only pre-season, but he had a game that left us questioning, and I know my United fans are going to get on his back in this one, because it was when he was pushing forward that they nicked the ball off him and they scored us. Now, the point is, Rúben Amorim stated that specifically when the player Manuel Ugarte was pushing forward, the other teammates were supposed to be pushing forward with him, but they didn't. They were supposed to go up as high as the 18-yard line, but they didn't. And then the ball was nicked off Manuel Ugarte, and then so basically the players were walking back. That's what Amorim said at halftime, right? So for Mason Mount coming in for Menu, it meant that Bruno would have dropped to mid with Ugarte for a bit before Casemiro came on as well. And then basically it was great to see that Bruno was dictating plays, swinging passes, albeit some of the passes were not hitting the target, but then Dalot also had opportunities where he could have squared played, but he barely had chances on the left side. On the right side, the attack was happening more on the left where Dorgu is, and Dorgu was also largely ineffective. Bruno Fernandes as well had a fight with Ndiaye, but whatever the case, it is good for the game, and he started on the pitch and ended on the pitch. Mbeumo came off for Patrick Dorgu in the 45th minute, and Patrick Dorgu played largely ineffective. Mateusz Cunha came off for Højlund. Højlund could have had a chance to score, but Dorgu didn't pass to him. So it is what it is. So that's pretty much the whole game. Basically, we're going to rate the entire team performance. I'll say it's a 6.5. They did really well, started really well, but from the whole game, it wasn't really connecting. And I know Man United fans are going to just kind of like go off and all. But yeah, they weren't really connecting. They weren't really like the passes weren't connecting per se. It was the passes were not connecting like we expected them to, but it was happening. We could see some flashes of what Rúben Amorim requires of all the players. Like the centre backs, he requires them to press high when their striker holds the ball. Like the wing backs, he requires them to press high, like Ahmad and Ahmad at some point in the first half, and then Dorgu later on in the second half. And then for the midfielders, it requires them to be very mobile, to be very athletic, to be able to carry the ball and advanced play. And Ugarte tried it a couple times. His touches were too heavy and all of that. So a lot of things were happening, and it was a bit chaotic. Everton were being too aggressive, and they wanted to get a win because obviously they were trying to show fight that they have not won any game in this series. They've played 5 games in total. They've drawn 2 and they've lost 3. I think, pretty much what it is. Yeah, they've drawn 2 and lost 3. So yeah, it's a whole lot. But what I can say is that in overall, the game was not that much of a beautiful game to watch, but it was a game that we needed to, basically just see what the team can offer and how we can improve the game, improve the team, improve where United is at the moment and all of that. So yeah, it was an okay game, but we're gonna keep watching. I mean, the next one is on the 9th of August. That's pretty much in the next about 6 days or 7 days, as case may be, where we'll play against Fiorentina at Old Trafford and all of that. So it's gonna be a good game to also watch as well. So that's pretty much what it is. With regards to ball possession, in general statistics of the game, Man United has 60% to Everton's 40%. Corner kicks was 1-6, and total shots was 9 for United, 6 for Everton. Shots off target was 3 for United and 6 on target, and then for Everton it was 4 off target and 2 on target. And yeah, so Atabende had just 1 save, and that was the first half. The rest, he couldn't save those goals. United had 9 fouls, Everton had 13, and both teams had yellow cards as well. So it was pretty much everything, but not everything we expected. It just showed that we will face different types of teams in the Premier League. The most important thing is how we handle it. It doesn't mean that this preseason is a setback for Man United. No, it just means that obviously that there needs to be there needs to be some sort of, like, what I'll say, for a clinical edge. That's what we lacked in this game. Some sort of clinical edge that will give us an opportunity for us to take the game by the scruff of the neck and win. But we have players like that can do that. But it is what it is. Now, that's pretty much all about the match review. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for helping us reach 1,000 subscribers. We keep growing, we keep evolving. I'm going to do a special video for that. But thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your comments, your everything that you do to help this community grow. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate you all, and I see your comments and I reply as much as I can. But thank you so much for helping us grow as a community. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. So thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.